Howdy, folks. Welcome to another exciting episode of Demon Dayz, an actual play podcast with a focus on fiends and the friends who play them. I want to thank you most dearly for your patience as we worked through our schedules and got everything put together. It's a lot of work coming up with the podcast and scheduling and all that, so the patience is appreciated. Anyways, let's get right into the show, shall we?
I'm sorry, but I can't let you inside. We're at capacity.
Capacity? This is a freaking 6-story tavern. How can it be at capacity?
I don't think I need to remind you that Federigo Tiffany Magma the Sixth is here. He's drawn quite a crowd.
Can't I just scooch into a random corner?
A troop of goblins have found and nested in all the remaining corners.
Shitsicles. Okay, can you tell me what he's saying then?
Fine. He's just thrown one of his 23 flagons of ale at a heckler and has started talking about how the heroes of his story had to fight their way through the Shadowfell. They were doing all right until one of the party members saw a windmill up ahead and just stopped running. And then he said something about these demon days.
So the little flavor text that is happening in Taslinn's world, especially about the running, is that it's not just the running in school, it's also the running that happened at Sky Point with her whole backstory. And there's a lot of like, she would get into trouble and it's like, let's go running through the streets and try and avoid all the people so the guards don't catch us. And then in the very, very back of it, it's also, let's run away from the hell of the Nine Riders because your mom told you to run as the skyscape gets dark. So, and then of course in all of this, she's like, my past is driving me to run even though I fucking hate running because running is terrible. And she looks up and no, look, there's a windmill, and I stop.
You stop running.
I stop. I hate that I'm doing this, guys. I really hate this, but I stop.
Okay, she stops running. So Feder, you're next. The sudden stopping, it actually does enough to disturb those swarming around the front that they're confused. They just don't have enough time to react. So she doesn't get any hits on her right now, but that does bring us to Feder next. You see this immediately happening. It's like a small gasp, you even hear it. And then she stops running, just directly in front of you almost.
Cool. So this is fun, and I'm gonna go with it because I'd already decided that I had. So at this point, just in his head, all he can hear is like the dark mumble of Augur's voice. Just, you know, the glint in the eye of the big kind of flaming scar over his left eye, and he'll say, "In that moment, boy, they will give you no quarter. They will show you no mercy. You move and you maim, and you move and you maim, and you move and you maim until you can go no further." And so Feder's just almost stone-faced in like an almost disquieting way, and he just blows right past Taslinn to like whatever's in front of her, and he's going to do the same thing where like he's going to try to clock any sort of aperture in the tower, but he's also going to pick something big, focus on it, and just try to do as much damage as he can on whatever is going to get him closest to whatever aperture he sees.
Gotcha. And it's the most immediate thing is that windmill shape in front of you, which does register as a windmill.
Right.
And there's like, it's like a farmland type windmill sort of property thing. And you feel like you can get there after this point. So if you push past there, that would be where you'd be next for the next round. So there's a few bigger dretches in your way now. They're trying to kind of ward you guys off a little bit.
He's going to pick the biggest guy in the prison yard, as it were. And I'm going to again do my insightful fighting because the other guy I'm assuming is dead that I've moved behind. So I'm going to move that over to the new guy. Hey, natural 20. I see through space and time.
Bonsai!
Natural 20.
And then the attack. Oh, that's not great. But plus 9 is a 14 to hit.
14 hit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Do. Clunk.
Jesus.
It's so satisfying. 10, 24, 29.
Yeah, you devastate them. You're clearing a path. They're sensing you as you're pushing past and doing the most damage. They're starting to converge on you a little bit more with aggro. So you're kind of giving a little bit of relief to a little bit behind you. That said, 2 raw 16s. What is
16's my armor class, so...
So 18 for one and dirty 20 for another.
Okay. I'm going to uncanny dodge one of those.
Gotcha. So
Just throwing my reaction right out the window.
Okay, so then that would be... So the first one's 2 damage, and then the next one is 5, so total 7.
Okay.
Not a whole lot, because that maneuver, especially with the crit, they're having a harder time hitting you with your dex and all that. Bringing us to Sunny next, who sees what's happening. She doesn't try to move you, but there's an instinct that kicks in for Sunny that she stops as well and tries to protect. And you see that her fingernails start to sharpen, and her skin start to hulk out a bit and fang-like, and she does primal savagery on herself, and she starts swiping at the mains around anyone that's trying to come close to you, and she's just severs one's head and severs another's arm, and she's trying to ward off fights for you. At cost to herself, both creatures get a hit in. You see them claw at her. There's parts of cloth are torn, and parts of her chest and arms are torn at, but she's kind of raging out in this primal savagery and doesn't quite feel. But you see a lot of blood flying out, and she's going into protection mode for her turn, bringing us to Yusuf at the rear.
Yusuf slides to a stop next to her. He's like, what is it?
Just staring up at the windmill.
Yeah, you see her staring at the windmill. She's dumbstruck by it.
You might actually have to pick her hands up. So in our wonderful fight or flight response, there's also a third response called freeze.
Yeah.
That is what is happening right now.
15 on a panic roll. So yeah, Yusuf's going to do that. How far off, Feder, how far off are you?
Are
you within 30 feet of us?
It'd be whatever your general running speed is. So you're 30. Yeah.
I haven't been double moving or anything, so yeah, 30 feet.
Okay. He'll yell to Feder, cover your ears.
Yeah. Okay.
And Yusuf gets behind Taz and puts his hands over her ears, and he, for a split second, his eyes kind of roll back in his head just for a little, and he makes this noise that it sounds like a tree falling.
Okay.
It's just this, and the whole ground shakes. I need every fiend that can hear me to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
They're looking for a 15.
15? There are a couple that manage to save exquisitely, maybe 1 or 2. The rest all fail them.
Okay, cool. They flee. Turn the Faithless. As an action, you present your holy symbol, and each fey or fiend within 30 feet of you that can hear you must make a wisdom saving throw. On failure, the creature is turned for 1 minute or until it takes damage.
1 minute or until it takes damage? Awesome.
So, at a certain point, the tide that's been kind of pressing on you, pushing against you and generally at you, shifts and turns outward. The energy, it's like everyone in the mosh pit's going the opposite direction of you all of a sudden. And even you feel it further up ahead as a bunch of them who hear this start to turn and move, giving you guys enough of a reprieve to just get to where you're going. You have enough time to just, if you book it and move, you can get to this windmill up ahead. Feder, you're the only one who was actually moving still,
right,
at the beginning of this 4th round. So if you keep moving, you're going to get past the kind of the threshold of this property.
Okay.
But you do notice that something that Yusuf did is shifting the tide. You're not as assaulted.
I'm going to slow my pace to half.
Okay.
And just so I can make full use of all of my new powers.
Sweet new powers.
Steady eye, gang. And I'm going to examine the outside of this structure, and see what I can glean from it, and see if there's a way inside.
Gotcha. All right.
And you're still moving while you're doing this, or you do like?
Yeah, but I'm only going like I'm slowing down,
Gotcha.
right? Because for steady eye to work, I can only move half movement.
Gotcha.
Rolling with advantage. It's a natural 20
Nice.
for a total
46.
52.
61.
No, it's only 31. But still. Man, you guys really fucking took me out at the goddamn kneecaps there, huh?
I thought it was based off your perception check.
Seeing through time and space.
Yeah, by 31. No, see now the 31 doesn't sound that, but like 30 fucking 1. 31.
Oh, wait, I'm thinking passive perception, so that would have added 10
Oh,
anyway,
no,
so it's a
but-
plus 16.
Yeah.
So I should have said 36.
Yeah.
That's bad math on my part.
31.
It's still good. It's great.
Yeah, but we just kind of like dampened the thunder with a.
it's only
We
a
are
31.
setting him up for grandeur.
Yes,
He
yes.
is going to get to that point at some.
We think
point
so
in the
highly.
future.
We think so highly of him
Right?
that.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
that's the last thing I need. Feder needs it even less, but yeah. So 31, John. 31.
Gotcha. Yeah. So with all that, you can kind of get a lay of the land pretty quickly too, as you've slowed down and you've got the steady eye. So the windmill itself, it looks blackened as if from burning. You see kind of around the area some ash. The windmill sails themselves have some color to them, but most of it's burned off.
Cajun windmill.
Yep.
Spacey.
And since you're going slow enough, you don't trip on this, but you do notice that it's slick. You kind of there's a dip before you get onto the perimeter of this, a dip that gets into some slick liquid that seems to be a little bit slippery
Sliquid.
and like multicolored. It has a multicolored sheen to it. Yeah.
Stop it.
There is kind of a colorful sheen to it that reflects some colors on it. Slick, colorful, seems viscous. You would, if you want to, you could roll some survival.
Okay.
The podcast is now 2 times as long because we are narrating every sound for your ASMR pleasure.
Hey, not bad. 21 survival.
That's not true. Just don't listen to her.
You've noticed that there are some substances out there, Feder, like oils and things like that are a bit flammable.
Right.
That would have that sort of a reflective, colorful sheen.
Sure.
And you notice that this dip, this mini trench that you've passed from, seems to curve as if it's a perimeter around this place.
Right.
So you glean that there's something going on here, protective for the place ahead.
Okay.
And the last thing you notice is that all along this property, there are scorch marks and burn marks and signs that this place had received
Sure.
heavy siege.
Okay.
Again, part of the echo. It could be just the past history of whatever this
Right.
fucking thing is, but you get a sense of the place and the strategic
So-
nature of that moat.
I stop kind of just at the end of the moat, and for the first time now I turn around and I scream back just to the group. I'm like, other side of the trough, and we light it. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on back there?
The fuck?
Yeah. And then those ones that are following you, Feder, they only barely get to you. They're nowhere near you yet. So they've got one more chance later if you
Okay.
guys don't get behind there. But that brings us to Sunny, who's doing more defensive fighting. And, oh, hell yeah. Takes like 3 of them out. There's a couple dretches that were getting ready to just dogpile you, Taslinn. She just comes in Wolverine style and just severs them,
Nice.
their necks from their heads, and they go back Pez style.
How far is this tower from us right now?
The
Or
tower?
the tower, the windmill. How far is the windmill?
From where you guys are versus where Feder was, about 30-ish, just a little bit higher, a little bit past 30-ish. He's a little bit further ahead of you and slowed down, so you've got about around in like a quarter or something math-wise. You have a little bit extra you have to do, so you'll take a little bit extra.
45 feet.
Yeah, 45 feet. About.
Okay, so 30 feet is not like at the base of the windmill, but it's like right there.
Right.
Well, there's the trench, and then how far is the trench from like the actual windmill itself?
I would say they're about 30 to the trench, and then you're about 15 on the other side of it.
Okay.
So
Okay. Is it my turn? I figured
it would
be my turn.
actually Yusuf. Since you went to full 0, you're at the back of the initiative roughly.
Oh, I
so,
figured because he's behind me.
Yeah. Oh, he's behind you now?
Yeah,
Since
he
he did it
was-
last.
he was always
yes.
behind me.
Yes, you'd be next.
That's
Then
fine.
she's
I'm
next.
fine with her moving.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I don't know if they would hear it, but I'm essentially just. How is this? how is this here? No, this can't be here. And then Taslinn is going to dissolve. I'm going to dissolve into mist.
Okay.
And I will reappear from the mist about 30 feet ahead, which is on the other side of the trench, yeah?
Roughly, you'd be at, like, where the trench is. So,
Okay.
So you would appear right where the viscous stuff is. Your feet would be a little bit...
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
Yep. So, boom, dissolve into mist, and just I don't even notice this oil that I have stepped in, and I'm just gonna walk towards the windmill. How is what?
Okay, and then that brings us to Yusuf.
Sonny, let's go. And he's going to move up. And the two that were moving towards Fetter, I'm going to try and hit on the way by moving towards the windmill.
You should be able to
myself.
reach them. They're only just, like, they weren't able to move far enough. Given the way everything moved in the last round, they couldn't react fast enough to get even close enough. So
Okay.
you would be able to reach them just fine.
Does a 14 hit?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay. And the 22 does. These are fiends.
Oh, yeah.
So all the...
Teeing them up for you here.
Yeah. Okay, so one of them takes 18 plus 5, 23 points of damage.
Uh-huh.
The other one takes 24 points of damage.
Perfect. You obliterate them. You just cleave through them as if they're butter. And then, yeah, that brings you, the three of you, up to the place. And then, just to round it out, Sunny's gonna book it. Her primal savagery is worn off, and she just hears Yusuf say, "Let's go," and she dashes. She track, like 200-meter dashes it, sort of energy, and just runs past. And
I figure I'm cutting them down. She's running past me.
yeah, and there's a lot of them that are still just running. So there's a few stragglers that are barely moving. They're not getting they're rolling shit here. So yeah, you guys get across the perimeter all at once. And for the sake of this, the chase is essentially done. They are on the other side of this trench thing. You have about enough time for someone to do something before they start to kind of regain
Cool.
themselves.
So is everybody on the other side of the...
Yes.
Okay, great. So Dragon Tooth goes in. I fumble into my shirt pocket. I pull out the Prestidigipen. I twist the cap. I hold it out almost like a detonator. And I just give it one of these. And I click it. And one of Prestidigitation's funner features is to instantly light
a candle,
a torch or candle or campfire. So I aim it towards the trough, wait till make sure everybody's on the other side, and then just and then
Nice. And it does. Ending this chase, it lights up. And for some reason, just because of this place, the weirdness of it, it lights up quite a bit and gives you a nice wall, enough of a wall of flame to be about maybe a little lower than chest high, and just enough to stymie everyone around you. But as it lights up and follows the trail of the perimeter, you realize how thick this place is with those creatures, as it's just hordes upon hordes upon hordes, minus the few that you ran away. They're still running. They're still pushing. You can still see the turbulence as they're pushing away from them and then getting clawed to death. But you're surrounded, but protected in this little bubble. This bubble that is a windmill property that looks to be war-torn, war-devastated. The windmill itself is all charred and burned, but still structural and intact. Again, it's that thing where if this were the real thing, it would be unstable and collapsible. It would collapse in on itself. So yeah, so you guys have yourselves a bit of a respite, and the way the fire is burning, this seems to be a little bit more of a longer term thing. You have some time. This doesn't seem to be wearing down. Whatever the Shadowfell provided you here has
Long
given you
enough for a long rest.
Oh.
Yeah, perhaps. It might very well.
Thank God.
Shit. But you can still hear in the distance the din of just the all around, surrounding this perimeter that you are in, and the rain by now has pretty much stopped here, and you see flecks of ash come down.
God damn it, John!
This episode is titled "Fuck You, John." Actually, this whole little arc that we're in.
More
right
like
now.
how to re-traumatize Taslinn.
No, it's gonna be great. So, real quick, as we've all like kind of clumped up.
Oh, I'm still walking towards the windmill.
So I'm gonna take a breath, and be like, nah, okay, we good? Is everybody good? We good? What happened back there? We all okay? What's, hello? Well, hello, you, Taz?
I've got my, like, completely ignoring Feder, and I'm just looking at holding my hands out like you would for snow, but it's not fun Disneyland snow. It's ash.
Okay.
So I'm holding, and I quite literally will take a second and kind of like touch my face to kind of see if there's blood and tears and ash that's coming off of my face too.
Okay. There's no blood. It's not like blood ash or anything like that. But it's
in her head it is. Yeah.
In her head, yeah. So you would see it as that, but it's if anything, the siltiness of the ash, the longevity of it is more amplified for you, I would say.
So at that point, he's like, Feder's gonna figure some of this out. He's not a complete dumbass, even though he is kind of. Like a couple pieces of ash like fall in front of his face as he's staring at Taslinn, and like the focus racks to the ashes going, and then he goes, hey, you okay? Huh? Is this, do you know this place? Is this part of what is this to you? Come here. Hey, come back. Come back to us.
I don't understand how this is here. This windmill was in a dare, and I stayed in it after I got tired of sleeping with the bodies.
And just like 2 hands up on the shoulder, and just like, yeah, it's the echo, right? This is a damned place.
Is that what you meant?
There's a couple things at play here. Either what happened there brought it here, or a copy of it, or imprinted upon this place, or your patron is putting it here as a point of significance, but if it was a shelter for you then, maybe it can be shelter for us now. Would you be okay if we find a way in? Are you okay if we go in?
Yeah. I'm not covered in blood, am I? Because it looks like I am.
To you guys, some of it would be just the outward projections of like dretch and mane blood, so like darkly colored things. But to her, it could probably seem very much like past blood. Like everything is a little bit more focused to her. Feder, you would know this.
I'll take the pen and just be like, hey, here we go, cleaning it off. We're cleaning it off, and I'll just like, even like in front of her hands. You know what I mean?
It just wipes away. But wait, there's more.
Wait, there's more.
Press the digipen.
Hey, and I'm just like, just like,
comes wrapped in a brand new ShamWow.
we're cleaning it off.
There might be like a bed or something in there. If this is really an echo, then there might be a bed in there.
Okay, all right. Let's find out. Yeah, and I'll like motion to like Yusuf or Sunny to come up and be with her, so I can kind of turn around and try to find a way inside.
Yeah, Sunny will come up there. She's very concerned right now about Taslinn. Just she's not had the experience that you guys had with her kind of freaking out all of the tower. Feder, you finally turn your attention to the actual windmill itself, and you kind of glanced at, you kind of noticed it. I failed to mention it because I was caught up in the moment. But next to the door, kind of blocking it just a little bit, is a slumped over body sitting, leaning against the back of the door, which is partly opened. It's slumped over to the side a little bit. An ashen colored elf that's dead, wounded, chest torn apart, side like. Not necessarily in the way you're thinking, but
okay.
it would.
Okay, I was about to be like, God damn it, John!
But if this were a Rorschach test, though.
Okay,
your association is fair.
Yeah.
I will accept the goddammit John presented at the table. But if any of you want to roll a particular arcana, I would say Arcana for this, you can kind of glean what this isn't like the other elves you've seen. Any like the hoity-toity high elves, more of the earthen elves
I will
or the Eldrin.
give whoever advantage.
Does the elf look familiar to me or no?
No.
Okay. Then I will roll
13.
as well.
I don't know why I'm rolling. I'm not trained in it, but
You wanted Arcana?
Yeah.
16.
You recognize these as shadow elves or Shadar Kai.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and so this is very much anachronistic to you, Taslinn, from what you're seeing here. This setting, they don't belong in it. And after the first initial thought of like, oh wait, him? Like, what are you doing? It's like, oh no, wait, hold on.
There's definitely I look at the elf and there's kind of a sound, not that didn't
Not
come out
ooh-woo.
right. Not ooh-woo.
Not ooh-woo.
But definitely like yeah, thank you. I couldn't do it correctly. Everything was gonna come out porn.
Yeah. Are you is Taslinn's faculties enough to where you could roll to kind of figure out why that happened? Because you could probably kind of connect something that Federus could try to communicate.
But here's what by seeing this elf that wouldn't have been there.
Right.
There's almost a break in reality for her, like you mentioned. So there's going to be a kind like my face is going to shift. There'll be like a little blink and definitely like he wasn't there. We're not. And I look around and I'm like,
Echo.
oh, okay.
So you're seeing it, and especially now that you've kind of been cued in on this, the minute you stop paying attention or focusing directly, you get wrapped up in the vision. But then you see that anachronistic element, and then you can kind of, if you focus on this is not real, but this is echo. Like Federus has been repeating this to you, so you're starting to cue in on a lot of these things that he just told you a while back, and that like you're able to kind of deconstruct temporarily the real, like the feel of this. So you can kind of break this echo and kind of see this for what it is just a repeat of
Definitely
past.
goes right back to the nope, don't like nope.
Yep.
Nope.
I'll if her attention goes to the body, I'll go to the door and just kind of like give it a little and give it a little check for traps, locks and traps and things.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll actually go over to the body because I wanna figure out why he's there and what.
19.
19. No traps. The door is the standard wooden door,
Okay.
not closed, but also not trapped.
I'll look back at everybody and then give it a little.
Okay, and then you should be able to see inside now, Feder, this kind of first floor, if you will. It's a very kind of compact, basic windmill with shabby floorboards and some dirt. There's a rickety stair kind of going up. It looks like the place is getting a little bit smaller as you elevate, but empty, relatively empty, except for you do actually see a few more bodies of these Shadar Kai. You see that at the top of the stairs, blocking the door, like the kind of the hatch to the next level, is a dead Shadar Kai. They're hoisted against it in a very protective way. The other bodies seem to all be kind of focused on that particular point, as if they were defending. There's a couple of corpses of mains scattered out closer to the door that would suggest that
Someone got in.
some got in, they protected as best as they could, but didn't survive. And probably the last one to survive, or the last one to die out, was the one hoisting against the doorway up there.
Right.
But they all met a pretty grotesque end, and their corpses all reveal like huge gashes. And
Okay. Well, this isn't the impervious fortress I think we'd hoped, so let's hope that fire holds, yeah? And I'll go ahead and step inside, and I'll start to I want to both toss and collect the bodies, because, like, if anything, at some point I'll reverently put them outside.
Okay. As you toss the bodies, you notice a lot of the armor carries raven insignias and elements that you might expect if we're talking Raven Queen-esque things. The things that you might not have paid attention to.
Yeah.
But as you see this on them, you're like, oh, I get it. Shadowfell, a lot of stuff that kind of calls to that design. A lot more raven design, a lot beaks, bones, a lot of stuff like that. No cash or money or anything like that. No currency to speak of. No missive saying like we're here for this reason.
Right.
But they do seem like a troop, like a defensive troop of some kind that were tasked with something.
Yeah.
Their configuration leads that way. There's a few that seem more leader. Your training on like strategies, and even your reference to Augur's ramblings, he would have mentioned stuff like that in any pocket, in any pocket group of soldiers. There's this, there's that. I was in this once. I left them behind, sort of thing. Like you'll get those references, so you can kind of place that this was a team.
Taz, this looks like a squad of hers. You think they were looking for something, or just resting here?
I was looking at the body. What do I need to roll? What do I find?
What do you try? Oh, for the scanning the body.
Yeah.
I guess.
Sorry, skinning the body? You're skinning someone?
Not
the
skinning.
body.
That was a couple episodes ago. Hey!
Investigation.
Hey, I'm actually fairly good at that.
Detective Taslinn.
19. Hey, it saved me in Skypoint. There were several times where there's a reason why I'm good at deception, persuasion, and investigation.
And then remind me again what you were trying to determine. Because
just like why he would be here, because he's not supposed to be here.
Gotcha. Okay. As you adjust him and look at his wounds, your eyes do catch sight of some corpses of mains around, kind of around the area, and he might have been holding them off from that doorway. And looking at the door, as you look up from the corpse to the door, it may have been his slumped body that opened the door versus them, like that, those couple ones outside getting in. So
I quite literally, as I kind of piece that together, I look off, kind of again casting skyward, going, "You sneaky bitch." And I hear Feder, and I go, "I think she sent them here as a way to protect this windmill for me." Either welcoming, a really sad welcoming party, or I briefly flash back to the dream of her trying to strangle me, and I go, or a trap.
If you want to roll some insight as you're thinking, like you're consciously thinking back, if you want to try to insight some of that vision, you can. I would say you're of enough of a mind to be able to do that.
14.
It was the gnarled, scraggy, kind of decaying hand that did that was attempting to strangle. So you could make some implications from that.
So yeah, no, probably not a trap. Probably here, rest here in my terrible realm.
And you guys hear her. I don't assume you're being quiet. You're just saying.
No,
this
I'm
out
not.
loud.
I'm not being quiet now.
Sure. Well, guess we can, as I'm like hoisting an elf up over my shoulder to take outside, we can at least make it hospitable, I suppose.
Yeah, and it doesn't take you very long to clear them out. The place can only hold so many. Sunny also offers to help carry a couple of them out, and you guys get them out there with no worry. And yeah, Yusuf, you can see now more clearly what Feder was able to glean inside, that this looks like a defensive scouting troop, or a troop that is meant to, you specifically would cue in a
forward operating,
or maybe they were trying to take something. They were like more transporting. You can see there one, like you can catch one that looks like has a bit of a scouting feel to him, and you would have Feder, you would have gathered the scouting thing. Yusuf, you would have in your training realized that maybe they were forging ahead, or there's something about why, like there was a purpose to this, not for their safety, but for the safety of something else. Just in your basic knowledge of training and traveling through Cania, I don't know if Augur would have mentioned something like this, but if he would have, it would have been something along the lines of, these people are always meant to die,
Right.
as long as the thing gets to a destination.
Sure.
they're pawns.
Yeah, they're pawns, but willing. They, like, everyone involved knows their death, and you can see it in their faces. Especially you, Yusuf, who is a little bit more battle-hardened. You can see the resolve. They didn't die afraid or angry. They died resolute.
Do like a survival to track what they might have been, like track their movement inside, like if they were looking for something inside the...
Well, have you gone inside yet? Because Feder would know that there's somebody blocking the door to the... There's a second floor. There's upper floors that are being blocked by a corpse. And if you would have taken
Spoiler.
that...
Yeah.
I'm the package.
The complete package.
Well, let's say that's the kind of the last. We've gotten all the other bodies out, and like that's the last one. I'd be like, what do you think he died? trying to keep folks away from.
Is he on the inside of the door or the outside?
He was on the outside holding it, and you guys took him out. So like the door is ready to be just opened, and
He was holding it shut?
he was holding against it. Yeah, trying to hold it shut or protect it. So the door to the next floor is not protected. It is now available to be opened, pushed up. Because he might like the way it was is you push it up, so he's holding it down.
Oh, it's a trap door.
Yeah.
Fetter's gonna be like, I got this.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it for traps real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Medicine check? How old are these bodies?
What did you roll for medicine check?
I didn't yet. Not a lot. 7.
I'll give you advantage.
Okay. Yeah. At that roll, it's hard to tell.
12.
About a 17.
17? Not that old. They're pretty fresh. I mean, relative to whatever time it is, they've dried a little bit.
Okay.
Their wounds are that stage right after a scab. It scabs over, and you can still pick it to bleed it, but there's enough time for a little bit of scabbing over for the wounds and the torn skin and things like that, but not that long.
Are the scabs yellow or are they red? Like, is it like the plasma that's dried, or is it like the blood that's congealed and starting to heal?
They're lighter, yeah. So this is fairly fresh. They're fairly fresh dead.
He pulls out his sword and he's like, ready.
Well,
All
I
right.
mean, a good indicator is that they don't smell all that much,
Not so
and
bad.
we are also fairly easy to move them. They're not rigid.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're also surrounded by dretches, so the smell is...
Right. Not the most effervescent location already. All right, yeah. So I was a 12 on the trap check for the door.
No traps.
All right.
The only thing is it looks a little bit not as secure. Like if you were to just let go of the door, it's not even. You know when you get into like a place, you rent a place,
Yeah.
and the door jamb is not evenly aligned, so it kind of has a creak to it. It kind of automatically just kind of shifts up a little bit. Someone would have to hold it down to lock it down.
Okay. I'm gonna cock an eyebrow at Taslinn and Yusuf and shrug my shoulders and pop the door open.
Yeah, pull up my sword and wait as he does that.
On the second floor, the only thing you see, the important thing to note, is that there's one more body of a Shadowfell propped up, and their wound wasn't as serious as everyone else's, but it looks like they died of the wound. They waited it out and died. But against their chest, they're holding an ornate black sword wrapped in a black feathered cloth. It's a long ornate sword with a jagged handle, very, again, anachronistic to this place, but the cloth itself, the feathered cloth, is not.
Do you guys come up? Because if not, I'm just gonna lower the sword down by the hilt, just like down through the hole.
No,
I would have stuck my head through, like, what do you see? And then see the sword, and I'm like, Taz, this one's for you.
Yeah.
Trying to take a step back.
That's Fetter's almost like down like one knee style, with the sword out like two-handed.
yeah, offering. Oh, like
I mean, this is pretty obvious. Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
not subtle.
Nope.
I'll do one last cursory investigation of that second floor.
Oh,
before
okay.
just to see if there's anything else hiding out up there.
So yeah, there's more stairs going up, but it just looks like the functionary of the windmill itself. You
All right.
don't, given how sparse this floor is, I don't think anyone made it this far, like
Yeah.
past him.
So I'll just like stick my head down and be like, second floor might be the better resting spot, yeah? Or do we want to keep an eye out on the front door? Or what do we think?
Is there a way out of it? Because if we do get rushed, I'd rather not try to fight through the ground floor to... Well, of course, it will bottleneck them.
On the second floor, you do see at various corners some little gaps. They're like smaller windows to look out. You would have to break through them. The wood does look brittle enough to where you could like shove through, and you can kind of see that there's a sort of patio. It would crumble under your weight, but it would give you enough to jump from.
Okay.
So you have enough. It would just take a little bit of work to get out there, and it would probably collapse immediately once you got out there.
Okay. Yeah, might as well. If we pull everybody up.
So I would immediately set this wrapped sword on the floor and just crouch down and stare at it, inspect it before I ever unwrap it or pull it out of whatever it's wrapped in. Total just imagine, if you would, an anime where you have the character literally popping around this object that they are attempting to closely inspect, That is Taslinn right now. That is me.
Right. So each frame is actual cut to another position. Of you
Yep,
examining
exactly.
it.
Boop, 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 boop,
Minus
boop,
the like putting your mouth on it and be like, okay, yep.
Yep. I might like find a broken piece of lumber and poke at it.
Okay. When you do poke at it, the cloth part, not the sword part, the cloth reacts a little bit. The feathery cloth, which to you, Taslinn, also seems not part of your echo necessarily, but part of this world. This feels natural in this world, owing to the Raven Queen and all that. You can recognize this as something that maybe had been wrapped in something of hers directly. The feathers do respond a little bit more lively to your poking and prodding, but they seem to be protecting this sword a bit. So they're anxious at the poking and prodding, not sure what is attempting to bypass them to this sword.
Are we all up there?
Yeah, by now I would assume you're all up there, unless you guys said otherwise. And you guys now the moaning is a little bit fainter. There seems to be an ebb and flow to it when it gets a little bit louder as they kind of test the bounds of the fire. As you look at the window, you can see, but it's still raging. You're still good.
All right. I'm assuming we're gonna take this opportunity to rest.
Fetter's already there's like a broken down chair, and he's like got his feet propped up, and he's got his flask out, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I mean, yeah,
we'll rest now.
it seems like
Yeah.
it seems like someone prepared this for us.
Yeah.
For better or ill, I think we know who it probably was, but even assuming the worst that it wasn't, I don't think there's any more hospitable place that we're going to find anytime soon.
Looking around the group, like, how are we looking damage-wise?
I mean, I got a couple scrapes, but I'm mostly fine.
I mean,
I'm profoundly fine.
I healed a little bit during our short rest previously, but I also used all my spells again, so I definitely need a rest.
Okay. So Yusuf just kind of takes a look around, and he's like, well, I got one more trick up my sleeve for the day, so I'm going to use it. And you see his hands start to glow, like when they do when he does lay on hands.
Oh, that's not where my brain was going with that.
Yeah.
And he kind of like rubs them together a little bit, and then
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
and then breathes
He
into them.
spits into it.
Yeah. No, he don't. He just kind of almost like he's.
Can you do that to the microphone? Oh yeah. Oh god.
Almost like he's like coaxing a coal to come back to
Oh yeah.
flame.
Cokes in the coal.
Yeah, a little coax.
You coax it real good.
Oh.
And as he
Soak of the cokes.
as he blows into his hand, giggity, you see light start to fill the room
Of course you
keeps
do.
getting better and better.
As he blows
as he blows. And
into his hand.
he looks around the room, and he'll look at Taslinn first. First round, you get 3 hit points back. Second
aren't we going to take a long rest?
round,
He's using something before. He's blowing first
You
before
get-
he
yeah.
recharges.
second round, you get 4 hit points back.
Are you healing me with your spirit?
Maybe.
Are you jizzing on me to heal me?
We're all getting blown on.
Right?
Third round, you get 3 hit points
A
back.
blow for everybody.
This is a multi-round.
It's concentration up to 1 minute.
Oh, okay.
Fourth
course
round,
it is.
you get
One mean minute.
fourth round, you get 7 hit points back.
All right. Well, I'm already healed up.
And she's done.
Okay. He then turns his attention to Fetter.
Daddy.
You get 7 hit points back.
Cool. I'm good.
You're good.
Yeah.
He will look at Sunny then.
Expectantly.
Sonny's like, yes, give it to me.
Is it my turn? Is it my turn?
She gets 7 hit points back.
Got it. Okay.
She's still damaged.
A little bit. Yeah. She took a few scrapes.
Next round, she gets 11 hit points back.
She's doing pretty good. Doing pretty good.
Next round, 7 hit points.
Yeah, she's sitting well.
8 hit points.
She's full.
She's full.
Full on up. Yep.
Okay.
Ready for a smoke break.
And then the rest of it, I think I can.
Share that light with everyone.
Yeah, no, it can include me. So the last 2 rounds, I get 8, and then he's going to heal himself for the other 10 that he still had with lay on hands.
All right.
Cool.
After that, you pretty much have your long rest to decide if someone's gonna sleep, stay watching, however you plan to do that.
I am gonna spend the entire time looking at this sword.
Okay.
I'll look at Yusuf and be like, watches?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go first, I guess. And
Cool.
I'll hop down the hatch to the first floor. I'm gonna pat the outside of this. Is there anything weird happening with the dagger?
The dagger that had pulsed before.
Yeah.
I don't know if you would have necessarily been able to feel it in your machine-like killing spree.
Sure.
But it's hard to explain other than there is a definite sense of just lust after that blood you shed. Just a sheer level of just like
Yeah, boner dagger.
that pulsing seems to almost pulse towards the direction of the blades that you actually used, as
Sure.
if the word jealousy comes to mind.
Sure.
And that's about as far as you get with that.
I totally thought that it was going to be lusting after the sword upstairs. Like we were going to have some sentient weapons that we're going to want to get
Sentient
it
weapon
on.
sex.
Clang, clang, clang.
Coming soon on Demon Days. No. And I'd be like, yeah, I figured. You'll get your turn, I'm sure.
That seems to sate it almost. You sense that if you were to spend some time with it, you could probably get somewhere more communicative with it, but something's reaching out, and you get a couple of emotions. Jealousy at the blades that did combat.
Right.
It's hard to explain, and if you were to explain it, like speak that to anyone else, they might think something's weird or
Right. There'll be a moment soon, I'm sure. I'm just waiting. And then I am going to, in the green journal, using my mom's cipher, let's see, and just write in code, in the echo, how and where are you? Can try to come to you sooner, because I'm not dirty, to you sooner, if needed. Finishing up business here. And that's it. No clever rhymes, just because I feel tired.
There is some break of pretense, and yeah. Got it. Okay. So then, they're getting their watches set up, and at a certain point, and Taslinn, you probably forget this pretty quickly, but Sunny takes your watch, quote unquote, your watch, as they rest. She's just like, I'll just take over whatever you need to, and she seems a little bit still in that kind of concern, like I'm gonna just make sure everything's okay. And then
And Taslinn, being oblivious, Taslinn is like, great, thanks.
Yeah. And so then you guys watch. Who said they were going first? Feder, you said you were going first.
Yeah.
Yusuf, I assume you second.
Yeah, I'll go second.
And then Sunny will round up the rest.
Wow, I really hope Taslinn is careful with that sword. Sounds dangerous.
Yeah. In general, it's good to maintain distance when dealing with strange weapons that arrive in your possession providentially.
Just between us fellas, you think it'll be a problem?
Of course.
Sheesh. Alright, well, I hope Taslinn is careful at least. Anyway, thank you for repeating back to me everything that the amazing and beautiful Federigo Tiffany Magma VI said with 1-to-1 accuracy. It was really quite appreciated, even though that's not in the job description of a bouncer to one of the most premier taverns in Sky Point. I can't wait to hear what happens next in these Demon Days.
So funny little side note, when I first started playing D&D way back when, and for a very long time, I used to think that turn undead that wonderful clerics and paladins would have was quite literally turning people undead. And I was very much like, how does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then I don't remember who, maybe it was you, babe, maybe it was Drew, that was like, no, you quite literally turn them around. They turn around and they run. And I was like, that makes so much more sense.
I imagine when young Vecna was in school and he was like, oh yes, I get to turn people undead. And then he sees it. It's like, we turn him around literally. Fuck. Education's bullshit.
That's not what I wanted.
And then he goes in exasperation and just liches himself. Anywho.
Dong.
No Toll the Dead happening
I was
here,
going to
guys.
say, remember.
Yeah.
That's the Toll the Bed set.
I just hit my little pop screen here with my hand.
Yeah.
That's all.
So with all that. And then there's a token you can select, and you can select.
Aha.
Yes, if.
Yes, if.
Save.
Yes, and.
And now you should be able to.
Yoink.
Yep.
Hey.
There you go.
Yahtzee.
It's really rudimentary and limited, but I'll figure it out later and make it cooler.
It's fine. It works. I feel like Kobold.
Kobold agrees. Second floor.
Is there a way out of it? Because if we do get rushed, I'd rather not try to fight through the ground floor to. Well, of course, it will bottleneck them.